Basically, coronary compression, coronary dissection, and acute AR. These are the causes of ischemia in case of.
So, coming on to the ECG, it is usually normal. Rhythm is usually normal. PR interval is prolonged, maybe because in cases of if there are any
we have come to ECG.
QRS axis.
Let's complete the. So suppose there is a patient where you are getting a continuous murmur. So how will you differentiate? What are the causes of those? Your examination that this is RSOV or this is other continuous murmur. What are the other causes of continuous murmur and how will you differentiate?
So the other causes of continuous murmur can be patent.
So patent ductus arteriosus. How will you differentiate from?
Sir, firstly, कि patent ductus arteriosus का जो continuous murmur होगा, वो crescendo and decrescendo pattern का मिलेगा.
नहीं, directly proceed in a order. No? How will you differentiate PDA from a RSOV? So you always go by. So there can be a setting. RSOVs are generally seen in young adults. There could be a history of stress which is there. Then on examination, now you start. On examination, what will be the difference?
Sir, pulse में sir, हाँ जी sir.
Yeah, start on examination. क्या difference है?
Sir, आवाज बहुत echo हो रही है.
So audio is not clear.
मेरा ऑडियो क्लियर नहीं है. हेलो
सर रोहित सर का भी नहीं है मतलब.
हेलो अच्छा ओके. So anybody else can take, no? Anybody else wants to take? How will you differentiate PDA from RSOV?
So basically, first is the clinical context. Usually PDA, I think it is echoing.
Yeah, sir, voice.
I can hear you. You can continue. Mohit, you can continue. Yeah.
So in PDA, usually we see a history suggestive of left to right flow in childhood, with increased history of LRTI, whereas the RSOV, usually there is a young adult male who presents with a history of 3 to 4 months of sudden onset chest pain and followed by dyspnea. Usually the natural history of RSOV, the history is not more than 1 year because most of the patients die by end of 1 year if there is no intervention done. So this is history wise. Coming to examination, so usually in the PDA we see there are precordial abnormalities, there's a bulge, precordium is there.
There will be a features of increased flow if the shunt is significant in the form of whatever you're saying. Okay, what else?
Yes, sir. The most important thing is about the murmur. So murmur of PDA, site of murmur, usually the maximum intensity of PDA murmur is infraclavicular.
Right-sided features with prominent JVPs.
In case of PDA, yes.
Pointer against.
Suppose
you're getting continuous murmur and you're getting right-sided features. What are the possibilities?
So continuous murmur right side.
So the first possibility is RSOV.
What else?
Which is a fistula.
So how do you differentiate coronary cameral fistula from RSOV?
So the coronary cameral fistula. The coronary cameral fistula murmur is also louder during diastole as compared to systole because the coronary flow is more during diastole. And again, the site of that particular murmur also depends on which artery is going to rupture or fistula is draining into which chamber. The intensity is more during diastole, whereas in this murmur, the intensity remains similar during systole and diastole.
What else? One of the difference is because it can also be a varied size. Other difference would be it is always the shunt across the RSOV is always greater. They are invariably they have features of volume overload of either of the ventricle. Intensity of the murmur, so they are going to have certain JVP changes. Coronary fistulas, unless very large, generally have a long tortuous course and generally do not have significant features of volume overload as compared to RSOV. Secondly, the murmur is always harsher and loud in RSOV as compared to
coronary cameral fistula.
It can have rest of the features can almost be same as this. Intensity is always higher of the murmur is than this. Intensity is generally not higher. Otherwise, it is very difficult to differentiate.
Yes.
This from this. And what is happening is what is the hemodynamics which is happening in RSOV? The blood is getting shunted in systole and diastole, but systole the vessel tends to contract. As the vessel tends to contract, there is a sort of a neck which gets contracted. When the neck gets contracted, always the diastolic component can be in the atria. But suppose it is in a ventricular chamber. In ventricular chamber, what happens? The systolic components are getting exudated. One of the differentiate which chamber it is there, but not from coronary fistula. Coming to PDA back, what other difference will be there on auscultation that we have discussed? No, peaking. It's tends to peak around P2 and this is not.
There will be multiple eddy click sounds also.
Yeah, large PDs can have multiple eddy click sound and it will be features of left-sided volume overload which will be there. Left-sided RSOV
differential
is very, very
cyanosis.
So, PDA will have all the features of left-sided volume overload.
Right.
RSOV is generally most of the time into RA or RVOT. Very rare into the left side to cause all the features. What are the other causes of continuous murmur? You said AP window. What will be the difference between AP window and RSOV?
Sir,
AP window is always a continuous murmur. It's a very rare one because it is always a big AP window and does not cause a continuous murmur unless it is obstructed. Because it's a big, most of the continuous murmur, the murmur is always in the second space.
Murmur is like
in the second space. It is much more higher. Rest of the findings, it is going to have all left-sided features, never a right-sided features like PDA.
Okay,
So
sir.
it will be a murmur which you need to differentiate between a PDA and a AP window.
Yes, sir.
So any RS continuous murmur having predominantly right-sided features, RSOV or coronary fistula, differences we have seen. Any images is having predominantly left-sided features are either either PDA, AP window, or very rare variety of RSOV, where you will have features of acute AR which will be accompanying this. Other cause of continuous murmur.
But in that case, you will not have continuous
yeah,
murmurs.
that will not have a significant continuous murmur. What else?
Sir,
What are the
another
other causes
cause
of
can be
continuous
TAPVC into systemic veins.
TAPVC murmur. What types of TAPVC have a continuous murmur?
So draining into the systemic vein
All
without
TAPVC drain to
obstruction.
systemic veins. So where do you get the continuous murmur of a TAPVC? Continuous murmur of the TAPVC is into the confluence, and most of the time, if the patient is coming in the exam,
Vertical
it is
vein.
a supracardiac TAPVC, and it is very low intensity. It is never associated with the thrill, and you have to examine the neck.
It is venous hum,
It is like a
basically.
venous hum. What is the other cause of continuous murmur?
Sir,
Other cause of continuous murmur.
sir, Al-Kappa.
Any systemic AV fistula, any pulmonary AV fistula.
Obviously, you are going to get it in the continuous murmur in the lung fields. Systemic AV fistula, there would be a radiation
Periphery.
from that particular location which is there. There would not be significant cardiac signs.
Hyperthyroidism, sir, hemangioma.
That is AV fistula. No, what else?
Then
Sir,
there are other
with
causes as well.
ASD. Gutenberger with ASD is also very low intensity murmur because of the communication of the.
But
you
that
have
is
the
not
features of
continuous, no,
microstenosis
sir.
which are there. Okay.
After shunt surgeries also.
Peripheral pulmonary stenosis.
Yeah, peripheral PS.
Peripheral
Shunt surgeries
PFS
also
obviously
after.
will get features of, if it is significant, you will get continuous murmur in the lung fields posteriorly between the and not at the locations we have discussed.
It's
Secondly, if it is
auscultated at the
significant,
back, we always say.
yeah, auscultate the
Then
back and you then will find
MEPCAs.
it. And of course,
Then
as
MEPCAs
we have
murmur.
discussed in PS, then you can have then you will have a RVH which is there. So the main differentiation would come from RSOV, coronary fistula, PDA, and AP window. The rest of them are very distinctly different. No? That you can describe. Okay, coming to ECG.
So the ECG is usually normal. The rhythm remains normal. PR interval is prolonged. The QRS axis is normal or towards rightward. Blocks may occur in the form of RBV, LVP, or complete heart blocks if it ruptures into the left ventricular, if there is ventricular structural defect. And if it ruptures into the right atrium, there is right atrial abnormality on the ECG. If there is increased flow of the left atrium, it causes a P-wave abnormality or left atrial abnormality. So the rupture into the right atrium of the right ventricle results in a volume overload of both the ventricles, and it depends upon which condition is basically overloaded. It may give as a feature of left ventricular hypertrophy, or it may also give features of a right ventricular hypertrophy. An aneurysm that compresses a coronary artery results in electrocardiographic changes of myocardial ischemia or infarction. So coming on to the X-rays. So usually I'll be just reading the X-rays. So coming on to the X-rays, usually the X-rays in a patient of sinus of are basically normal. Till the time if they are unruptured, it remains usually normal. But if they are ruptured, so it may lead to congestive heart failure, and it may give features of acute pulmonary edema. And also, if it ruptures into the left, depending upon which and the site of the rupture, it may also lead to particular findings. If it ruptures into the right ventricle, into the left ventricle, it may lead to dilatation of the right ventricle, giving to cardiomegaly. Or if it ruptures into the pulmonary artery, it may lead to dilatation of the pulmonary artery. So, sir, यही दो सर features थे, मतलब book Perloff में सर यही दो mentioned है कि depending upon the site of rupture, secondly acute pulmonary function, and अगर pulmonary artery में rupture है तो pulmonary artery dilatation होगा, और बाकी usually sir unruptured cases में it remains normal. Hello.
What is the X-ray showing to you?
Sir,
this X-ray
basic. Yes, sir. So this X-ray basically shows pulmonary venous congestion. There is pulmonary congestion, and secondly, it also shows we have cardiomegaly. If we calculate the CT ratio.
So first X-ray is obviously of which is like very acute rupture
Acute
which has
pulmonary
occurred.
edema. Yes, sir.
Why we say so? Because you can clearly see that there is an interstitium which is involved. There is almost
Yes, sir.
you can see the alveoli between there. There are features of pulmonary edema which is there. So it generally suggests that there is significant venous congestion which is there. No?
Yes, sir. And so the second
acute volume overload is there. Acute rupture is there. and
Yes, sir.
I think there is a pleural effusion also. Okay.
Yes.
What about the next
And so
X-ray?
the next X-ray basically shows that the pulmonary trunk is dilated, mildly dilated, not completely dilated, mildly dilated. There is RA enlargement, sir. If you see this, there is an RA enlargement, and also there is an LV enlargement in this. So that means that the rupture might have either occurred into, मतलब sir, this is a prolonged, मतलब, gradual onset of rupture रहा
So
होगा, acute नहीं
this
है.
patient seems to
Lung
be
feels clear है इसमें.
reasonably comfortable, lung signs are not much. Cardiomegaly is not that, but yes, it's a LV type of apex with a RA
LV type
prominence.
of apex.
So RA prominence
Yes, sir.
with a LV prominence, that means a volume overload of all the chambers. It should be
Exactly.
generally signifies that there is a significant shunt which is there. So generally, such significant shunts are a feature of RSOV. Whenever it's at
Okay.
or TAPVC, you are going to have even bigger hearts.
Bigger
But
hearts.
otherwise, most of the time it is a significant shunt. So it's very difficult to say whether this is RSOV or if it is coronary cameral fistula or if it's a continuous murmur. But all we can say is that there is a LV prominence and there is a RA prominence. It is occupying almost
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the right side, and there is a LV prominence.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Echocardiography. The parasternal short axis view at the level of aortic sinus is the most useful view to basically study the anatomy. Parasternal long axis view is useful in cases where the rupture is into the left ventricle. It is also a good view to demonstrate the extension into the intraventricular septum. So in a large echocardiographic studies, the most common site of rupture was the right ventricular outflow tract, which had 58.2%. The right ventricular cavity, the next was in the right ventricle, which was 25.5%, right atrium 9%, and both right ventricle and the right atrium 1.8%, and uncommonly, and the left ventricle only had 5.5% cases.
So this particular incidence varies with the region. Generally,
Region, yes,
in case of Asian countries, it is more common in the right ventricular outflow tract. In other parts of the world, it is more commonly seen in the RA. So otherwise, in Asian countries, in all those Japan, all those areas where RSO is much more common, it is generally seen in the outflows. This particular study must be, I don't know, but it must
Sir,
be from one.
Parloff में लिखा हुआ था large से.
Yeah, they
Parloff
also
में
ask in
लिखा है.
exam ki Japan mein which is the most common chamber where it
So generally outflows पे
ruptures
जितनी भी होती है
in India.
जापान,
Yeah.
all these ज्यादा कॉमन है उस एरियाज में ना, उनमें आरवीओटी में
Yes,
होता है,
sir.
डबली कमिटेड वीएसडी भी ज्यादा कॉमन होता है, आरवीओटी में भी रप्चर ज्यादा कॉमन होता है. इंडिया में देयर आर almost 4 or 5 studies which the largest initially used to be from Dr. Kerkar, Praful Kelkar, and their series had RUT which we had this. The other is from a case of 18 or 19 cases from Calcutta, and there is one in Indian Heart Journal which we had published. It is part of a larger thing. We had almost I think 12 or 13 patients. They are basically RSOVs which have been devised. So now bigger studies are also coming up. Jaydeva has come up with even a larger study. So most of them, our case, we have almost equal number, but still RVOT takes a predominance over RA.
RA. ठीक है sir.
But it's almost the
So
same
non-coronary
incidence. But Asian countries, one should know वो को पूछते हैं कि it is RVOT more.
Okay. The non-coronary sinus aneurysm rupture into the right atrium is 68.2.
Generally right atrium में जो rupture होगा वो non coronary होगा. Generally जो
Yeah.
RVOT में rupture होगा
वो NCC होगा.
वो NCC
वो RCC.
नहीं
वो RCC होगा.
RCC
जो RCC होगा वो RVOT में rupture होगा. जो NCC होगा वो generally right atrium होगा.
Yes sir.
इको में सबसे important चीज होती है to differentiate what is the quantum of aortic regurgitation, because run off AR से भी हो रहा होता है और run off RSOV से भी हो रहा होता है. So one has to differentiate, because if you send the patient for procedure, you have to decide whether you need to repair or replace the valve, or if you are doing a device, what will be the residual AR which the patient has to accept, because that has to be decided. So you have to take all the parameters for AR, you have to and then take a decision. Second most important differentiation has to come from the presence of VSD, because if there is a VSD, then the patient definitely goes for surgical procedure. But if it is a VSD which is closed, then the patient goes for can go for a device failure. So Doppler forms a very good modality. At times there is a confusion. You can put a Doppler across. RSOV would always have a continuous murmur, but if you are getting systolic flows in that area, that means you should be you must suspect that there can be a AVSD which can be there, so that can cause you trouble when you close the RSOV. So, but this you also do when you take the patient to cath lab and you do a LV angiogram just to decide whether it is coming from the LV or it is coming from the aorta. That means to differentiate RSOV from a residual VSD. If there is a residual VSD, then surgical is a better option.
Right. Sir, and the role of it was mentioned so there's another mentioned in book, the role of cardiac CT and cardiac angiography in like cardiac catheterization and angiogram, and they have not specified the role of cardiac CT much in cases of this because it's an acute condition. So
See, usually the presentation which we get is not that acute. Hello.
yeah, that's right. But then most of the cases, what Essentials of Postgraduate book says is that the cardiac CT का इतना कोई ऐसा
usually क्या होता है, they generally present with an acute state. Most of the time we have seen RSOVs presenting to us acutely, and they present with, they are very dyspneic because there is sudden volume overload on the atrias, on the RV, and they are in failure, gross failure. Then they present. You must be remembering, Romila must be remembering that girl, no, lady
Yes,
which
sir,
we have devised, how sick she was when she came to us.
Pedal edema,
Almost BiPAP लगा
heart
रहे हैं,
failure,
pulmonary
yeah.
वो आ रही है. So edema. In fact, we could not recognize her when she comes now. No, पहले तो ऐसे लगता है. I mean, such is the usual presentation. But they usually come in a very, very volume overload and sick condition. But gradually they tend to recover because ultimately it's a mechanical cause. So one has to actually close it. And people have gone acutely and closed the RSOV at mid of the night also because the patient was going into failure and not responding. Because shunt is huge. It's a torrential flow which goes to the lungs. So, and at times with BiPAP and other measures also, it becomes very difficult to control. Jayadeva had so many patients when I was talking to Dr. Vijay Rangan. They had to actually rush most of them at night and closing a RSOV because the patient has been sick and is not able to maintain the saturation because of pulmonary edema and is getting sicker. So, cardiac CT is basically to look when you have a dilated ascending aorta and to profile the aorta basically. If the aortic root dimensions are, if the ascending aorta is also dilated and you need that Bentall needs to be done, then it will be a surgical call. So whenever you have to decide the aesthetic, it's a bicuspid aortic valve, which is a predisposition to the RSOV, and if it is also associated with ascending aortic dilatation. In that particular case, cardiac CT is helpful. Cardiac catheterization is always done not specifically for this, but when you are taking for CAT table for device, you will always do an angiogram. Also, if the patient is grown up, there is a setting for coronary artery disease beyond 40 years of age. In that particular case, also you would like to do a coronary angiogram and simultaneously a cardiac cath if you are taking for the surgical intervention. The difference between surgical and the, are you planning? This is your last slide?
No, sir. I have a short slide on management also.
Okay. Then you decide. No, I thought this is last slide. You continue then.
Yeah, so coming on to the management, the small rupture should be repaired in a timely fashion to prevent the progression of heart failure. In case of an unruptured aneurysm, the clear-cut indication for surgery is infective endocarditis, intractable arrhythmias, coronary artery compression, and orthoprac obstruction. The optimal management for unruptured asymptomatic aneurysm, however, remains unclear as the history is not well defined. The surgical repair remains the mainstay for both the ruptured and the indicated unruptured sinus of ulcerations. Aneurysm of sinus of ulcerations. So this is one of the algorithm which I founded from Vijay Lakshmi, and it said that if the rupture is intracardiac or extracardiac, if it's intracardiac, whether it is ruptured or it is unruptured, ruptured can be asymptomatic or symptomatic, causing compression, distortion of the surrounding structures, which becomes like an unruptured is type A, and we should have a schedule for early repair. If it is type B1, we anticulate, follow at 6 months interval.
What is type A, B1, B2, C?
So this is Sakibara, according to the Sakibara classification. So coming out from the pulmonary valve, coming from the right atrium, right ventricle, then tricuspid valve, and then any other side.
So this type A, type B1, B2, BC, they are talking of what? Unruptured?
Sir, type A तो उन्होंने, हाँ sir, unruptured बोला है. Ruptured का तो sir early repair है.
Ruptured है तो कोई doubt ही नहीं है. Then you have to actually go for
early surgical
device.
Device
से भी तो कर सकते हैं.
हाँ sir, मतलब दोनों.
Device और surgery या.
Yes. But
So what are the contraindications of device?
Sorry?
What are the indications and contraindications of device closure, and which device is to be used?
Coming up यहाँ पर. Basically, उसमें तो amputal ductal occluder होता है. So the percutaneous catheter closure is feasible alternative in selective patients with ruptured aneurysm of the right sinus or in the absence of VSD or AR. Percutaneous catheter closure is feasible in selected, sorry, I've copied the same, just mentioned the same thing. Device closure of RSOV is generally done under gentle anesthesia and in a TE. Femoral venous and artery access are obtained, and the patient is adequately heparinized. The right heart catheterization with oximetry run is done, and there is usually pulmonary venous hypertension with increased pulmonary blood flow, and there will be a step up in the chamber of mixing, and all saturations will be higher beyond the chamber of mixing. Sir, इस line का मतलब नहीं समझ में आया ऐसा कि there will be step up in the chamber of mixing, and all the saturations will be higher beyond the chamber of mixing. Sir, higher beyond the chamber of mixing का मतलब सर रप्चर तो एक ही चैम्बर में होगा.
हाँ तो उसके बियॉन्ड जो भी है वो वही ब्लड जा रहा है ना. तो प्रॉक्सिमल टू दिस द सैचुरेशन विल बी लो. अगर आरए में रप्चर है तो आरए का भी हाई होगा, आरवी का भी हाई होगा, पीए का भी हाई होगा. अगर आरवी में रप्चर है तो आरए का हाई नहीं होगा, आरवी का हाई होगा और पीए का हाई होगा. तो
इसका आता है ट्रेस में डालूंगा, उसमें ग्रुप में डाल दूंगा. इसका हीमोडायनामिक ट्रेस पूछते हैं आरएसओवी का एग्जाम में.
हां तो बियॉन्ड दिस
ऑक्सीमेट्री
सैचुरेशन को.
ठीक. So angiograms are done to profile and detect and exclude associated VSD or AR. Various devices have been used to close RSOV, but the most commonly is preferred of the suitable shape. The size of the device is usually chosen as 2 to 4 mm larger than the diameter of the RSOV. The defect is crossed from the aorta and the wire is snaked from the venous route is created. A suitable delivery sheet is advanced from the venous side, and the device is deployed under TE and fluoroscopic guidance. So this is basically a rupture of sinus of Valsalva, and this is the guide by. This is the what you call as a guiding wire or the sheath on which the device would be taken. यहाँ पर इस पे इन्होंने device लगाया है, वो एक रेल रोड क्रिएट करते हैं. यहाँ पर एक डिवाइस लगाया है जिसकी वजह से, and then this is the post device closure echo T, which shows that there is no gradient or there is no the has basically been closed. So the TE and the angiograms are done to document residual flow, AR and right-sided structures. Then the device is released. A few series of device closure of RSOV are reported with good technical success. AR is the single most important determinant. Trivial procedures related to AR is found in 4 out of 8 related to device and sudden increase in the afterload. However, almost half of the pre-procedure AR disappears on follow-up. Sorry, thank you. So, इतना ही है basically इसमें भी RSOV. Anything else, sir? Anybody would like to?
What are the indications of surgical repair in RSOV?
Infective endocarditis, intracranial
erythemas. No. I'm talking about ruptured.
Ruptured to itself is an indication. Rupture.
When will you choose surgery over device closure?
See, it will basically depending upon the condition of the patient की acute है या मतलब duration कितना है, कौन से chamber में basic rupture हुआ है. दूसरा interact मतलब अगर patient is not responding to the medical therapy or to BiPAP or to any stable patient deteriorate हो रहा है.
So I will just enumerate. I think dear sir will add. Hello. Yeah. So if there is an associated VSD, if there is significant AR which might require a AVR, if there is a larger perforation with the aortic end more than 12 millimeter, if there are multiple rupture sites, or if there is endocarditis, or if there is a failed 25% or device closed only.
Of these indications also, the AR and the VSDs are most specific, because even larger VSDs, if the rims are good, one can go ahead and close the device. We have closed one RSOV with a 24 millimeter post-MI VSD also. So if there are multiple openings at times, what happens, there is a single opening on one side. So you can close that end and it will be closed off. And there's last one, you said something else. Infective endocarditis. Yeah, if there's infective endocarditis, then surgical would be better. Especially if it is active endocarditis, then surgical would be better. If it is healed, no significant vegetation across, we can go ahead and close it. VSD and AR continue to be the two most specific indications where surgery would be advisable.
No, but if the VSD is muscular,
I'm talking of most of the time VSD is not muscular. Most of the time in RSOV, it's a doubly committed VSD. And what happens? The cusp has prolapsed into the VSD and has protruded and ruptured. This is the most common scenario. In that particular case, you need to push in the cusp and strengthen the thing. the one indication which you have not taken is associated surgical thing. You must mention in everything. No? Associated
sir, yes,
surgical could be ascending aortic dilatation, which are more common in this. Bicuspid aortic valve के साथ RSOV सबसे ज़्यादा common association है. उसके साथ ascending aortic dilatation भी सबसे ज़्यादा common है. So there is if requires a Bental, there is no point in going in for a device. Na? Better going for this
surgery option.
The advantage of surgical is they are addressing the pathology. That is what they say, no? Because they are trying to
Yes, sir.
Strengthen the wall. They are going to strengthen the
Yes,
wall
sir.
with the additional
But इसका सर long term follow up data भी मैंने पढ़ा था while preparing for theory. They are saying कि ऐसे 20-year survival is more than 95%.
Yeah, long term results are very good.
Yeah.
But they are addressing the underlying pathology. ना RSOV devices का long term अभी word नहीं use कर सकते. There is a mid term follow which is there, which is reasonably satisfactory. अभी recently एक lady भी तो आई थी, that Kenyan lady जिसको severe coarctation था and RSOV repair was done, but RSOV was still, I mean, sinus of Valsalva was still huge. We had stented Dr. Rajneesh ka, we had stented the coarctation in the hope चलो कुछ तो कम होगा, but that continues to be huge. She underwent recently AVR, no, with a Bental.
Yeah.
There's one male also from Russia who came with coarctation of aorta and continuous murmur was heard, so we thought
What did we do?
device
Surgical.
closure, ballooning, quark ballooning and
Quark balloon and RSOV device. Okay.
Epatula.
There were two patients which I saw. उनमें तो दोनों में they were adult patient with a history of 3 months. एक Dr. Vivek, एक Dr. Rathi. Both of them were device closed.
कौन सा वाला?
One was Dr. Rathi's patient, which he device closed. One was Dr. Viveka's patient. I think I was in first year, which you device closed. 40-year-old.
Anything else?
नहीं sir.
Okay, but
चलो कल तो बड़ा टॉपिक है, VSD तो बड़ा टॉपिक है.
हाँ, VSD शायद हो भी नहीं पाएगा, वो
I
आधा ही
think we won't be able to complete in one go.
We'll see. नहीं तो उसको we'll transfer it to Sunday जितना हो पाएगा. कल we'll do diagnosis management, we'll do later.
कल anatomy कर लेते हैं, उसका diagnosis.
ASD का भी हमारा management रह गया है.
तो
जो भी है एक बार क्लब कर लेंगे. But tomorrow let's start. Let's see how much we can miss.
ठीक है सर. Thank you.
Thank you sir.
thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, doctor.
Thank you, sir.